Hi, Anton. Good to go?
Yes, sir.
Great. Hi again, everyone, and thanks for participating in tonight's NCAA March Madness postgame press conference featuring the top-seeded Gonzaga Bulldogs. We have sophomore forward Anton Watson with us now, so we'll begin the press conference. Anton, thanks for joining us and congratulations. And media members, now don't forget, use the raised hand function to indicate you'd like to ask a question. When you're called on, please state your name and affiliation first. And our first question here this evening will come from Gary Horcher with KIRO. Gary, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Anton, congratulations today. Coming off the bench, getting into the zone like you were, talk about where that mental state comes from, because you're not in the starting five and yet you've got to be ready to roll at any time. You guys had not played in 11 games. It took you guys a little bit to get to kind of find your sea legs and hammer on all cylinders. Tell me what goes on in your head and your heart when you just can't miss like that.
Um, Honestly, in the zone, that's like my favorite spot to play is just in the middle because you basically have control of the whole game at that point. So I'm right there. They played zone a lot, and I knew they were about to do that. So I enjoyed that, and I was looking for my shot and being aggressive the whole time. So
Okay, thanks for your question, Gary. Next up, we'll have Brenna Green with KREM. Brenna, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Anton, Brenna Green, Crim 2 in Spokane. Just you've had your ups and downs this season. How does it feel to show out on the biggest stage you've ever been on as a player?
yeah, it's really fun actually. I've been waiting for this moment as a little kid just to play on the big stage, March Madness. I've been dreaming about this since I was little. So, to come out first game and do this is like it just feels amazing, and we just gotta take it one game at a time.
Okay, thank you for your question, Brenna. Next, we'll go to Hendrix Magley with the Indianapolis Star. Hendrix, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Anton, Hendricks Bagley from the Indianapolis Star. Obviously, it was a really big night tonight for Corey as well. And while he can do so many good things on the court, I thought one of the things that really stuck out to me was just some of the little things he does. Like after you guys came out of halftime, you had a 20-point lead. He was out here on the court a couple minutes before. He was just so ready to get back there. How have you guys kind of emulated some of the little things that he's shown? I know he's been here for 4 years. How has those little leadership skills just kind of passed along to the rest of the team?
Corey's about the best leader you could have on your team. He does that every game. He just brings the energy and makes sure that we got the same energy. We played a 16 team, but he knew that they were going to come out and fight early, so he just made sure that we were all ready and prepared. But yeah, Corey's the best leader we could have, honestly.
Okay, thank you, Hendrix. See Gary Horcher with KIRO. Gary?
Hey, Anton, I appreciate being able to ask you one more question. So, you're one of the few guys who are actually from the inside of Spokane. Like, you were raised there. Talk a little bit about, I mean, a lot of these guys are from around the world. What does it mean to your hometown, to represent your hometown, your state like that? Talk about that a little bit.
It means a lot, man. I got so much love. I got my family right down the street from the gym. All my friends cheering me on. So just to play for them, and I got fans coming to every game, my family and stuff. So just to play for them is like the reason why I play, and the reason why I chose the school. But playing in Spokane is like I love it, and you see like greats like Adam Morrison and stuff, and John Stockton. That was my coach, and you know, it's just cool to be set down from Spokane.
Okay, thank you for that, Gary. Next, we'll go to Joe McHale from KHQ TV. Joe, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Anton, just kind of going off that question. Tanner Groves for Eastern Washington scored 35 points today. You know, you guys played kind of the same time in Spokane. Just between his performance and then what you were able to do on the floor today, just kind of what does that say and how does that speak to basketball in Spokane?
Hey, man, they sleeping on Spokane Hoopers. You've been saying that. No, but him and his brother, they were cooking today. I watched that whole game, and it just shows how many Hoopers we got in Spokane. Me and him were battling in high school, so that's respect to him.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Next, Isabel Gonzalez with Mid-Major Madness. Isabel, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello. So you said this was a dream come true, and obviously this is a team sport, but what do you expect for yourself for the rest of this tournament?
Just to bring the energy every single game like I did today, and maybe I don't have the best night, but just keep playing hard. I can't pass up this opportunity. It's a once in a lifetime thing, so I'm gonna give it my all, and my teammates are too.
Okay, thanks for your question, Isabel. Gary, do you have another?
I'm good on my end, so thank you.
Okay, thanks for that. We've got time for another question in case anyone else would like to utilize the raise hand feature. Here's Kellen King with the Insider Institute. Kellen, you can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Hey, Anton, you said this playing in March Madness has been a dream of yours since you were a kid. Were there any nerves out there stepping out there? Because you looked pretty comfortable right from the start.
I think I was just more excited. We haven't played in like a week, and we were practicing for this, and I've been waiting for this my whole life. So I think I was just more excited. Nerves weren't really there today, but yeah.
Okay, thanks, Kellen. I'll go to Mark Canizero with the New York Post. Mark, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Sorry about that. Anton, can you speak to, I know this is very early, it's just one game in the tournament here, but the undefeated national championship kind of looms a little bit. And I just wonder, if that sits in the back of your mind a little bit and how important that is to you. Can you express that a little bit?
That'd be great, but we got to take one game at a time. We got Oklahoma in 2 days, so I think that's what I'm focused on right now. But I think the main goal is to try to win it all, and being undefeated, that would be even better. So.
Okay, thanks for your question, Mark. And with that, Anton, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations again on your performance and the team's win, and best of luck moving on against Oklahoma.
Thank you.
It will be joined in a moment now by Gonzaga head coach Mark Few. You can utilize this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary while we gear up for Coach Few. Hello, Coach. Good to go?
Yo. Yep.
Great. So we'll begin with an opening statement from Coach Few and then go to your questions. When we do, again, you can use the raise hand function to indicate you'd like to ask a question. When you're called on, please make sure to state your name and media affiliation first. Coach Few, congratulations on the win tonight. Thanks so much for your time. And before we go to questions, can you please give us a brief opening statement?
Well, hey, it was I think that's the longest we've ever waited to play an NCAA tournament game. And so obviously, from a coaching standpoint, that causes anxiety. And sitting around watching all the, higher seeds jumping up and grabbing the slower seeded teams, was a little bit unnerving through the last 2 days. But, man, the guys came out with a great approach, played great defense all night, and did a good job. And, man, I was impressed with how hard Norfolk played, and they run a lot of stuff, and they switch defenses, so there's a lot of adjusting going on out there by our guys, but by and large, very, very pleased for getting step one here.
Great. Now we'll go to questions from the media. Again, you can use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question, and we'll start with Keith Oso from KXLY. Keith, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Coach, congratulations. Making the round of 32 for 12 straight years. These numbers that your program keeps putting up are pretty baffling. Just do people have any idea how hard that is, and how do you reflect on that?
No, hey, listen, accruing NCAA wins is the hardest thing you can do in our profession, in my opinion. And to be honest with you, I didn't know that we've won 12 straight of those, because it's tough. And these, and I screw up. I don't know if it's the higher or the lower seeds. Which ones are how we use that terminology, but they're getting better and better and better and better. The 16s are better than they were 5 years ago, and obviously you watch through this tournament, the 15s and the 14s and 13s are giving everybody quite a tussle. So there is no easy one, and I was happy that we extended that thing before halftime and then kept our foot on the pedal in the second half. But great accomplishment by our guys, but this tournament comes at you quickly, and so obviously playing so late, we got a very, very quick turnaround to play a really good Oklahoma team that's had some big time wins all year, and do some interesting things that we'll have to adjust to quickly.
Okay, thanks for your question there, Keith. Next up, we'll go to Brenna Green with KREM. Brenna, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Coach, Coach Brenna Green from Crum 2. Corey moved up to third all time in the 3-point list tonight. Just speak to what his impact has been at Gonzaga over these last few years, and just seeing him, obviously climb up above some major names like Matt and Josh tonight.
Yeah, hey, listen, Corey's an all-timer at our place. Clearly, he's a first-team All-American, so that puts him in really, really rarefied air, but that's just scratches the surface when you're describing the type of person he is. He's of the highest character there is. He's as good a role model as you could have for young players in your program, for young kids like I have. And he's just a wonderful, wonderful representative of Gonzaga. But I think and know just for college basketball, he's, like I've been saying all along, he's a poster child for college basketball. And he's also a poster child for, listening to the information in regards to the draft and betting on himself and coming back. And that turned out to just be a brilliant decision. And sometimes leaving isn't always the best thing. And Corey and his parents did a great job of communicating through that process and listening to the facts, and now he's reaping the rewards from that.
Okay, Brenna, thanks for your question. Moving on, we'll go to Hendrix Magley with the Indianapolis Star. Hendrix, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Coach. Hendrix Magley from the Indianapolis Star. I know you just kind of touched on it a little bit about Corey, but, I thought an interesting moment tonight. It's a 20-point game at halftime. He's still the first one out here on the court just a few minutes before the other guys, and he just looks so ready to go. How has that attitude just kind of rubbed off on all these guys? I know, obviously, he's the only one here that's been here for 4 years. How has that attitude and that mentality rubbed off on the younger players in the program?
Well, I think it rubs off in that, it's contagious, and that's kind of the mentality of our team coming down and working, outside of practice. They're down there at night. Corey gets his extra workouts in the morning, and I think the young guys saw that, especially early in the fall, and realized, okay, this is a different deal, and there is a reason why he shoots the ball so well, and he's in such phenomenal shape, and all of those things. So I think they see his effort in the weight room. He doesn't just give a token effort in there, and how he studies film and listens to game plans and all that. So it's really, I'm sure if you asked Jalen, he would tell you it's really helped him with just, the general approach. And it's no secret that's why he's so good. Corey doesn't leave anything to chance. And I think that's one of his most impressive traits.
Okay, thank you, Hendricks. Next, we'll turn to Jim Meehan with the Spokesman Review. Jim, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Jim, if you have a question, you can unmute yourself to ask it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
we got you.
Come on,
Meehan. Sorry about that.
Figure it out.
Hey, it takes some time. Just like it takes some time for, I know you've been after Anton for a while to be more aggressive, more assertive. Is that message finally hitting home with him?
Well, it did tonight. And I told him after he just walked out of this interview room, that's just one now. I mean, this team needs that desperately out of Anton. And we've been asking and begging and yelling and doing whatever we got to try to get him more aggressive and more assertive in every phase of the game, quite frankly. Shooting, driving, making post moves, rebounding, defending the rim, all of those, just kind of hustling. And, so today was a good first step against an athletic front line. I mean, Norfolk had legit size and athleticism in there around the rim. And so I thought that was a really, really good sign for us and for Anton, moving forward in this tournament.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Next, we'll go with Mark Cannizzaro from the New York Post. Mark, you can unmute yourself to ask your question.
Yeah, could you? I know this is very early. It's just one game here in this long tournament. But I just wonder what the feeling is amongst the program and the importance and the significance of getting through this whole thing and becoming one of those rarefied teams that has won a national championship undefeated. Is that in the back of your minds at all?
I can honestly say it really isn't. We just want to win this tournament. I mean, that's all we want to do is just win this tournament. As the season progressed, I think we were able to stay number one all year and not take a loss. But it's more been about really the next one coming down the pipe. And as we got into this thing, I mean, we're all highly competitive, and this group's extremely competitive, and it's just about winning this tournament. And obviously, if we win the tournament, we end up undefeated. But I've never heard the guys talk about it. The staff doesn't talk about it. I mean, I don't talk about it. And gosh, man, we just want to win this thing. And I've been in enough of these games, and every step of the way in this tournament, I mean, like we got a really short turnaround, and we got to be ready to roll against Oklahoma. And we might have shot the ball extremely well tonight, but who knows if we will the next game, and maybe we'll have to win it with, making plays on the defensive end. So you just never know. So, but no, I truly, we're really not spending too much time on that.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Now, John Blanchett with the Spokesman Review. John, you can unmute yourself to ask your question.
Mark, we lost a game in the tournament today when VCU got cut up in the COVID protocols. I was just curious about the anxiety level among coaches just getting to the starting line in this tournament.
Yeah, hey, listen, the NCAA and Dan Gavitt and Joanne Scott, they deserve a ton of credit. I mean, this thing is to put this endeavor on and bringing us all here and the protocols that are in place. And gosh, the practice courts are phenomenal that we all get to work out on. And the meeting rooms are big time, and it's really incredible when you're experiencing it firsthand. Now, I mean, obviously it's frustrating because you got to stay inside and all that, but when you take a step back and look at it, I mean, they deserve a lot of credit. And I don't really know the situation, what happened with VCU. I mean, I'm very confident with our guys because we took so many steps even before the conference tournament. We, put ourselves into the hotel just to kind of keep us safe from our own students and everybody running around Gonzaga, and then just continue that after the conference tournament. And we've been testing clean forever now, and so I feel good about our situation, but I just feel horrible for VCU. It breaks your heart. This is not what you want to happen, but it's just tough, and I feel really, really bad for them, players and their staff.
Okay, thanks for your question, John. Time for just a couple more. Jim, did you have another question?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Go to Keith Oso with KXLY. Keith, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
I'm also good. I didn't unraise my hand. I'm like Jim. I'm sorry, Coach.
All right,
Us
Keith.
Spokane guys, it takes us a while.
We're tired.
Yes. What are you talking about? You're 3 hours behind us.
I'm sitting right in the same arena, Coach.
Oh, are you?
Right,
Okay. Yeah, then you are tired. It's late.
Okay, with that in mind, we will try to get one last question in here then with Isabel Gonzalez from Mid-Major Madness. Isabel, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, Coach.
Hey.
Earlier this week, I asked you what you thought your players were going to be like during this tournament, and you said they were probably going to play even harder than they did in the regular season. Today, you guys broke another school record. How would you evaluate today's performance, and how can you get even better for the rest of the games?
Hey, I thought we were great on defense tonight. We were terrific, especially Norfolk State runs a lot of nice stuff. Coach has got a myriad of plays. I thought we had a lot of plays, but his are something, and different actions that require different coverages. And so I really thought today was about our defense, and then obviously our defense got out and led to our offense, and we got out in transition, which is always a good thing. So, hey, I mean, my hope is we continue to play that hard and that alert and great attention to the scouting report and the details of it, and keep taking great care of the ball, and that's usually the recipe that works really well for us.
Mark, really appreciate your time. Congratulations again, and best of luck going up against Oklahoma.
You got it. Okay, thank you.
Well, everyone, that's it for this post-game news conference. A transcript of Coach's interview will be provided by ASAP Sports at ncaa.com/transcripts. You can also find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a nice night.